Y Media Group, established in 2001, is a media company with a 360-degree approach in reaching our audience over 5 platforms: television, radio, newspaper, online news portal, and mobile app.
Y Media has newspaper, midweek, radio, South Asian Pulse.
Hi, I'm Amitabh Bachchan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
Hi, this is Amir Khan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
अब हर दिन सुने GTA का #1 रेडियो स्टेशन FM 91.9,
All English 24/7 television network, and Y Media Plus.
You are watching Channel Y. Channel Y.
Prime Minister, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be back.
Online, SouthAsianDaily.com, the biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.
Hello everyone, my name is Jadoo Jaswal. I'm the group editor at Y Media. As we are all aware that we are going to have elections across Ontario. The municipal elections will be held on 24th of October. And for a vibrant democracy, it's very important to know the views and ideas of all the different candidates. Y Media has been organizing debates for many years, whether it was the federal election, provincial elections, and the municipal elections. Here we are again. Y Media presents Y Media Sensex and Ontario elections. We will conduct on Channel Y. Channel Y, which is available on Rogers 857, Bell 828, Telus 2418, 707. And you can check your box if you have a box at please have both the channels saved in your favorites. Channel Y, which is serving in Punjabi, Hindi, Urdu, and in English as well. And Channel Y, it's in case you want to check it through an app. So Y Media TV, download that on your mobile app, Y Media TV, and you can check Channel Y or Y for our newspaper, midweek newspaper, and there's also a link for Radio Y FM 91.9. So here we are. We're going to start our first debate. So I wish all our candidates all the best. And at this point, I'd like to welcome Stephen. Stephen, a very warm welcome, sir. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well, thank you.
Welcome. I'd like to welcome Stacey, a very warm Y Media. How are you?
I'm doing. Thank you for having me here today.
You are very welcome. And I'd also like to welcome Idris, a very warm welcome, sir. How are you?
I am well.
Very welcome. And at this point, I just like to put it on record that yes, we did send invitation to all the candidates from Ward 1 and 4, but these are the informations that we've got. So, there were more candidates, there was more participation, whatever confirmation we've got. So this is it. But I'd like to once again give our number at the bottom, 416. Just in case any candidates is still interested, maybe we'll accommodate them later on. But here for the debates, we did invite everyone. But just in case anyone is interested, 416-475-5000. That's the number you can contact us. For all our candidates and also for our viewers, I'd like to explain what the format of the debate today. So the format would be that every 2 minutes for the opening remarks. After the for 2 minutes, then we'll be discussing different topics. We'll be asking a question on a certain topic. You'll get 2 minutes to respond. Just in 2 minutes for the initial answer. And then there'll be open discussion on a few of the topics. When I say open discussion, it means I'll throw in a topic and we have 4 minutes open floor. So I'll definitely start with the candidate, but then anybody can join in. Anybody can join in. There'll be an open discussion of 4 minutes. And then have the close each for all the candidates approximately, and then our discussion that we're going to have. All set? Any questions at this time? Thank you. Thank you so much. So I wish all the 3 candidates all the best. And our first question would be that everyone wants to know what is city planning. And Stephen, why don't I start with you? What is your vision for the city planning? And when you're talking about city planning, we'll also like to ask you a few questions. But before I do that, I think, Stephen, I'll start to give you 2 minutes for your opening intro, and then we'll start the question. Stephen, opening intro.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Stephen Lee, and I'm running to be your representative on Brampton City Council. The City of Brampton is facing a number of significant challenges, and the previous council has made no meaningful steps to address them. The current council is too invested in the status quo that is no longer serving the people of Brampton. Watching them persistently ignore issues surrounding housing, transit, safety, and accountability, I felt motivated to get involved myself this year in the elections. I'm running for council because it is clear that fresh leadership with fresh ideas is necessary to bring change to Brampton. We need more choice in housing and the availability of housing within the city, including addressing affordability. We need more rentals and starter homes and apartments across the city. We need transit that is integrated into our city and effective. And we need councilors who are more concerned about the well-being of the city and the people they represent than their own personal interests. We need to build a city that puts people first, a people-centered city. And I have a vision to achieve that. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for your opening remarks. Stacey, at this point, I'd like to welcome you once again. Your opening remarks, please.
Thank you again for having me. So this year I choose to run in the election because we need to preserve the city of Brampton's well-being and the people of Brampton's interests. The present city councillor that we have, she doesn't listen to anyone in our ward. She's not reachable. She doesn't care about the city. She doesn't care about anyone in the city but herself and her friends. We need leaders that are transparent, leaders with integrity, people who will lead Brampton to achieve growth. There's so many things lacking in the city of Brampton. We have a lot of homelessness. The price of rent is high. People cannot afford rent. What are we doing about affordable housing? Our healthcare is in crisis. What are we doing about that? Crime and violence has been growing rapidly in Brampton. Are we hiring enough police officers to help curb these types of incidents? Where are our infrastructures for all those buildings that we are proposing in putting up in Brampton? We are already low on hospital beds, and we're bringing in more people in, but no infrastructure. We need to sensitize ourselves as leaders to be accountable for our property tax dollars that we spend. It's not our money to spend as we have a like. And we should be hiring people at City Hall through the due process, not based on friendship. So all these things is why I want to represent Brampton, because I know I can be an effective leader, and I will be an effective leader for the people of Brampton.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And at this point, Idris, your opening remarks, just for viewers' benefit, I'd like to once again tell you, we are having this debate for Ontario municipal elections. Right now, it's Ward 1 and 5 in Brampton. These are the candidates that you're saying. Yes, Idris, your opening remarks. You have 2 minutes, sir. Please.
Thank you, everyone. I just want to apologize in advance. People might be wondering why I'm dressed like this. I knew about this today, very short notice. It's coming from a doctor's appointment, and I decided to jump on because I thought it is important for Bramptonians to hear from us. I wish I had a notice and to be prepared for this. So whatever the answers I give, is a testament to how much I believe um, about where our city is and solutions to some of this problem. My name is Idris Urugu, long-term resident of Brampton. I'm running to be the next regional councillor for wards 1 and 5. Why am I running? It's no surprising that there's a complete failure in governance from the current council. They have failed us in so many ways that I can begin to list. And most importantly, it seemed to me like all they care about is themselves. We can start from healthcare. A lot of people might say healthcare is a provincial matter, but I'll tell you why it affects municipalities. We have the worst per capita healthcare, the worst per capita bed ratio amongst major municipalities, major cities in Brampton. The average ratio in Ontario, the provincial average is 2.16, while in Brampton is 0.96. Our city is running without a plan, no direction. I personally support development in this city because currently there's zero development. However, I want development that incorporates a community sense. Right now, what the city is doing, what council is doing, is building homes everywhere, increasing density without building a viable community. Most areas where they have...
Yeah, I wish we could give you more time, but 2 minutes are over. So thank you so much, Idris. So here we start the Q&A round. 2 minutes for you, Stephen. My question to you would be that, yes, what is your vision for the city of Brampton? If you could also include environment-friendly city, affordable housing, all those things. What is the vision for the city of Brampton?
Of course, it's a big question. I think the slogan I came up with my campaign is, let's build a people-centered city. And I think as we're going forward in this election, the thing we need to prioritize and how we govern Brampton is what's in the interest of the population who actually is here now, what's in the interest of the most people who call the city home. So obviously this is going to touch on a lot of different areas. Let's start with housing. We know there's not enough housing in the city, right? That's a simple truth. At the same time, we know rapidly adding towers, the city's infrastructure might not be prepared to accept that sort of growth. So what we can do instead is something called gentle intensification. That is in neighborhoods where the infrastructure is already in place, allowing the zoning for duplexes and triplexes and fourplexes, and then along major corridors, building small apartments. This is faster than trying to build these big towers, and the end result is we'll get more housing quicker and also not disrupt neighborhoods. Right? I'm not looking to completely overhaul neighborhoods and kick people out of their homes. This is about fitting in with what's already here. The other aspect, you mentioned climate, a green city, right? We need a city that is prepared for climate change. Climate change is coming, right? We saw it with Hurricane Fiona. We saw it with flooding in Toronto and in Brampton over the summer when heavy rains come. So we need to make sure our emergency services are prepared. We need to protect the green space that's already present in the city. We can't develop every square inch because that's going to be damaging, and we need to make sure our emergency services are in place to deal with the problems when they arise. We need to not be reactive. We need to plan thoughtfully for the future in terms of housing, in terms of climate, and other issues confronting the city.
All right, thank you so much. And at this point, I'd like to welcome Idris. We want to hear what is your vision for the city of Brampton. You could also include, housing affordability, or how would you plan to keep our city environment friendly? So your vision for the city of Brampton, Idris.
So thank you. Those are not necessarily complex issues. Housing is a major crisis, and what we're doing right now is creating, the current council, what they're doing is creating a huge, allowing people, basement dwelling is not a solution for housing crisis. There has to be a clear-cut plan for housing. At the same time, while we're pursuing that agenda, we need to be able to build a viable city that incorporates a number of schools that will accommodate this increased residents that are moving into these particular areas. Those are some of the things we have to do. But I'll tell you, before we do that, we have a city that is so filthy. Our parks are filthy. Our neighborhoods are filthy. We have bylaws that are not being enforced. We cannot continue to build and increase density in this city without maintenance of this city. In a lot of these areas that has to do maintaining the city, there have been budget cuts all across. Currently, there are 22 property standard officers in Brampton. There are 10 bylaw officers in this city. So if you're planning to increase density, you have to factor to what you're doing to the city and the various neighborhoods. It's not surprising that you see garbage and trash all over. So how about us starting by enforcing our current bylaws, making sure we have a livable city that is not known as the rattiest city in Ontario? That's the stigma Brampton carries. There is no way you can bring in investors.
शाम 7:30 बजे who should be the mayor of Brampton? Brampton ਦਾ ਮੇਅਰ ਕੌਣ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ? ਮੈਂ ਸਾਈਡ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਕਰੀਨ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਦਿਖਾ ਰਿਹਾ, ਡਬਲ ਸਕਰੀਨ 'ਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੁਝ ਦਿਖਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਈਡ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਗ੍ਰਾਫਿਕ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੇ ਚਿਹਰੇ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਚਿਹਰੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਮੈਂ ਸਕਰੀਨ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਦਿਖਾ ਰਿਹਾ। ਸੋ ਕੌਣ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਮੇਅਰ, ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਅਸੀਂ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਸੋ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਮੇਅਰ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਥਰਸਡੇ October 6th। ਸੋ 6 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੈਲੰਡਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਮਾਰਕ ਕਰ ਲਓ, ਥਰਸਡੇ ਦਾ ਦਿਨ ਹੋਏਗਾ। ਸੋ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੂੰ ਮੌਕਾ ਦੇ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਉਸ ਦਿਨ ਆਉਣਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ 1 ਆਵਰ 7:30 to 8:30 1 ਘੰਟਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ। ਔਰ 8:30 ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਮੈਂ ਐਜ਼ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਹੈਡ ਐਡੀਟਰ ਇੱਥੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੋਵਾਂਗਾ ਔਰ ਸਾਰਾ ਪੈਨਲ ਵੀ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਬੈਠਾ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਪੈਨਲ ਮੈਂਬਰਸ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਸੋ ਸਕਰੀਨ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਅਸੀਂ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਦਿਖਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ। ਸੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਥੇ ਪੈਨਲ ਮੈਂਬਰਸ ਹੋਣਗੇ, ਸਾਰੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਥਰਸਡੇ 6 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਨੂੰ 7:30 to 8:30 ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਸੁਣੋਗੇ। 8:30 ਮੈਂ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੋਵਾਂਗਾ, ਸਾਡੇ ਪੈਨਲ ਮੈਂਬਰਸ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਔਰ ਫੋਨ ਕਾਲਸ ਅਸੀਂ ਲਾਈਨਸ ਓਪਨ ਕਰ ਦਿਆਂਗੇ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਪਸੰਦ ਆਈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਦੇ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਮੈਂ ਰਿਕੁਐਸਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਡਿਬੇਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਏਗੀ। ਸੋ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਕਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ Y+, ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਲ ਸੈਕਸ਼ਨ 'ਚ ਜਾਓਗੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਕਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ Y+ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਫੇਵਰੇਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੇਵ ਕਰ ਲਓ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਰਾ ਹੀ ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਦਾ ਮਹੀਨਾ ਅਸੀਂ Y+ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਚੈਨਲ ਹੈ, ਆਲ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਚੈਨਲ ਹੈ Y+। ਸੋ ਇੱਕ ਤੇ ਚੈਨਲ Y ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਹੀ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਚੈਨਲ Y ਦੇ ਨਾਲ Y+ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਡਿਬੇਟਸ ਨੇ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਬੈਕ ਟੂ ਬੈਕ ਡਿਬੇਟਸ ਚੱਲਣਗੀਆਂ। ਸਾਰੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਬਰਦਸਤ ਕਵਰੇਜ 24 ਦਿਨ ਪੂਰੇ 1 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ to 24 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਨੌਨ ਸਟਾਪ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਕਵਰੇਜ 1 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ to 24 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ Y+ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਦੇਖ ਸਕੋਗੇ। ਉਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚੈਨਲ ਆਪਣੇ ਫੇਵਰੇਟ ਸੇਵ ਕਰ ਲਓ। ਚੈਨਲ Y ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ, ਹਿੰਦੀ, ਉਰਦੂ ਔਰ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਔਰ Y+ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 24/7 ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਰੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਿੰਗ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਦੇਖੋ। ਔਰ ਦੂਸਰਾ ਐਡਵਾਂਟੇਜ
Our neighborhoods are filthy. We have bylaws that are not being enforced. We cannot continue to build and increase density in this city without maintenance of this city. In a lot of these areas that has to do maintaining the city, there have been budget cuts all across. Currently, there are 22 property standard officers in Brampton. There are 10 bylaw officers in this city. So if you're planning to increase density, you have to factor to what you're doing to the city and the various neighborhoods. It's not surprising that you see garbage and trash all over. So how about us starting by enforcing our current bylaws, making sure we have a livable city that is not known as the rattiest city in Ontario? That's the stigma Brampton carries. There is no way you can bring in investors to come into the city and invest without cleaning up the city and making it livable. The current council is not interested in that. You can build all the homes, but in no time those values are going to depreciate because the maintenance of our city is horrible. The maintenance to keeping property standards up to par is non-existent. I don't need to tell anyone this. Look at your neighborhood. Even the newer areas are being run down. So
thank you so much. I wish we had more time. Thank you, Idris. Thank you so much. And Stacey, at this point, we want to hear your vision for the city of Brampton. And you could also once again include housing, affordability, or environment friendly. So what is your vision for the city of Brampton?
So my vision for the city of Brampton is to first start with leaders with integrity. When you have that in place, you will have the provincial government wants to work with you, because if you can't work together in your own home, you can't work together in the wider community. We need to have affordable housing. Having residents make their house into affordable housing solution is not the way to go. A minimum wage worker cannot pay rent of $2,000 per month for a basement apartment when they're making $2,000 a month. So the government has to step in, build affordable housing so that people can get place to rent at an affordable rate and not thrown out with renovations, because that's what's happening in our city right now. Then the current council asks residents to turn their home into affordable housing unit. We're having parking issues. It can't be enforced. If you call the parking enforcement officer, you get the ticket, not the people causing the issues. We have garbage all over the place. We have rooming houses, because that's how we're asked to do affordable housing. So we have to put that in place. Brampton has another crisis. We have a hospital crisis, a healthcare crisis, and a mental health. We have no mental health facility here. Brampton Civic only has 608 beds. Look at the population of Brampton growing. So we need to get another hospital going and a mental health. We need to enforce bylaws. We need to deal with the safety on the street. We need speed bumps on our inner streets. Our kids are at risk, our elders are at risk. We need more transit on the road. The regular routes need to be 15 minutes maximum wait time on the major route. The max. Get some of these young drivers off the road. They're causing accidents, sending our insurance up. Brampton has the highest property tax. So please, this is why I'm running. I need a better Brampton.
All right. Thank you so much. And at this point, we need to quickly move on to our next topic, which is crime. Crime has been increasingly, in the news these days, whether it's across Canada, major cities, crime has been discussed a lot. And I'm sure Brampton residents are also questioning what are we going to do to tackle the crime. Let's hear what our candidates would express, what are their ideas. Idris, why don't we start with you this time, Idris? What is your idea? How can we tackle this crime? What would you do? What would you do if you become the councillor to reduce crime in the city of Brampton? Yes, sir.
There's no doubt that crime has gone up. We have 400 cars stolen in Brampton and Mississauga every month. We have breaking and entering that has gone up. What is lacking here is a complete clear-cut approach to addressing this. Work in collaboration with police and get more police officers to patrol our neighborhood. Establishing neighborhood watch. Guess what? We did that. The previous council did that. When Paul Vicente, when they came into power, I'll tell you the first thing they did. They awarded money to an organization to provide neighborhood watch. The $90,000 of that money, $90,000 from the $150,000 that was provided for neighborhood watch went into somebody that currently works as an assistant with Rowena Santos. We cannot continue to address issues affecting us this way. So as a councillor, it's working jointly with police to increase police officers, police presence in our various streets so as to deter the increase in vehicle theft, destruction of homes by criminals, breaking and entering that's an all-time high. We'll have to work collaboratively to address this. Speeding is an issue. Most residents are under siege from constant speeding, and lives of residents are in danger. All of this fall into safety that I will focus on. Police vehicles to issue us tickets, create an avenue for a lot of youngsters to direct their energy out of driving on our streets and endangering residents into something on arts and entertainment by building the facilities in the appropriate places. So what they are not doing is they are pushing the burden on residents to be their own watchmen and protect their homes.
Yeah,
so when
Idris,
you pay
I wish we had more time. Thank you, but I'll request you and everybody else. Idris, whatever statements you are making, do you have any proof to substantiate that?
With regards to what, though?
Any statement that you're making, this money went there, this money was spent there. So be very careful.
Yes, I do. No, I do. I do. If anybody wants to challenge me, you can. It's in the media about Brampton Focus.
No, we do not. No. Anything which comes out in the media, so that cannot be, as a proof, because none of these allegations have been proven in the court of law. I need a proof from the court. That's what I need. So I request everyone to kindly refrain from making any allegations which you cannot substantiate. So I'll request that to all our candidates. So let's be very careful regarding that whenever you're making any statement. Of course, if you have court documents proving anything, any allegations which have been proven in the court of law, of course we can discuss that. But I'll request everyone to refrain from making any comments if there are mere allegations. We do not accept any other media publishing any story as a proof. No, any CNN or BBC can do whatever they want. This is why media. When you're here, I want court documents if you want to say anything over here.
May I say something to that, sir? May I say something?
Yes, please.
So when you source out information, any media that has sourced out this information have done that in good faith. If they are proven wrong, those allegations would have been court tested and they'll be prevented from saying that. So when we source out information, we're sourcing out information from people who have done that job to produce that information. Some of these media outlets are reputable outlets.
No, but I have to be clear once again. Any media outlet in the world can make a mistake, whether it's BBC, whether it's CNN. So when you quote any media outlet, this is for your information as well, it is for future reference. When you quote any media outlet, so that means that media could be right, but they have done their due diligence. But when you're saying anything on Y Media, we will request you that yes, anything which is in court. So you cannot quote any media. Either you have done your due diligence, you have the proof, then we could accept that, show us the proof, or if it's been proven in the court. Once again, I'll say this, these are all the opinions of the different candidates, but none of these allegations or anything have been proven in the court of law. So this is very important for your information. Thank you. We have to quickly move, on crime. Stephen Lee, if you could express, what are you going to do to tackle the crime in the city of Brampton?
I think an important first point is to keep in mind that City Council does not oversee Peel Police. Okay, so that's regional council. So as a City Councilor, I will have no direction over those matters. That being said, I don't necessarily believe more policing is the answer. I'm much more interested in the root of crime, right? When we're talking about a lot of the issues we see in Brampton today, they're interconnected. So, we all saw crime and homelessness and incidents of theft go up during the pandemic, right? Hard times lead to elevated levels of crime. So if we want to start to seriously pull down the rates of crime, then the answer to that is affordable housing, it's social housing, it's increasing the housing supply in the city, it's creating economic opportunity by creating employment zones and fostering small business. These are the things that will meaningfully address crime, because if we just add more police, we're just talking about more arrests. That doesn't address the underlying cause of crime in the city. I would like to add as well that something Stacey brought up in her opening remarks, safety in the city is more than just crime as well, right? Every week we see news items of people who have been seriously injured or killed in car accidents or pedestrians being struck. That's how we design our roads. And our city is not as safe as it could be because of the choices we've made in the design of our city. So these are details that City Council can tackle to improve the lives of the people who call Brampton home.
All right. And Stacey, why don't we start with you? What is your idea? What's your vision? And as much as, yes, the regional councillors are more responsible, they oversee the Peel Police, but yes, every councillor, they can advocate for city. They should have ideas, I believe, for how they're going to tackle crime, because it's a very important issue, because you get to vote on so many important issues. Please go ahead.
As a city councillor, I never like to tell my residents that I can't do anything. I'm put there with a voice, and I live in the city. So even though I'm not regional councillor, I'm going for city councillor. Crime affects me too, as a city councillor. We have to look into the root. Who is actually, what's the demographic? When the police hold somebody, what's their demographic? Is it homeless people who are causing the crime? Is it people who is in home somewhere? What's the root? And if it's like from the homeless side, what are we doing to alleviate it? Because when somebody is hungry, they're going to hunt. We don't have jobs in the city. We need to bring jobs into Brampton so people can be gainfully employed. Minimum wage jobs alone cannot make you gainfully employed, because after paying your rent, you're hungry. So that's one thing. But we still do need more police officers, because when you call for an officer, you're told that they don't have enough resources to send people out. So that needs to be in place. Without police, we can't have safety. Housing is a crisis. We need to get people into houses. We need to get people into jobs. We need more social services. We need social workers to connect with the lower class people who are actually probably involved in crime. If it's not organized crime, it's coming from individual needs. Do I have more time?
Yeah,
I want to touch on infrastructure. They're planning on putting on so many high-rise buildings in the core of downtown Brampton.
But we're talking about crime right now.
Okay, so that's it for crime. We have to find the root cause. If we don't find the root, we cannot fix crime.
All right.
So we have to work in line with the police, and we come to a decision.
Thank you. We got it. And at this point, we're going to open our floor for an open discussion. I'll be bringing in topics, and then we start. It'll be an open discussion for everyone. So feel free to join us anytime on any of these issues. So first of all, we'll be discussing, we have just one hospital in Brampton. In media, we get a lot of calls, lots of discussion goes on regarding the one hospital. So my question to you would be, how would you be working with our provincial and federal counterparts if you get elected? Do you plan to bring in one hospital, two more hospitals, or you think one hospital is sufficient for us? So hospital in Brampton, that is the key question. So this is a 4-minute open discussion. Anybody can join in anytime. Feel free to join in the discussion anytime. Yeah.
So I'll start.
Sure, go ahead.
Hospital in Brampton is a crisis. We only have 608 hospital beds to serve almost 1 million people, because we have underground counts. Wait time is 14 hours. We need a second hospital. Mississauga is getting a hospital at present with 1,000 beds, and they already have 3 hospitals. Brampton has 1. What is going on? We don't know. I am on the outside. I'm not in City Hall, so I can't tell. But we need a second hospital. We need the Lynch Hospital to be working too as part of a third leg hospital. We need a mental health facility with psychiatrists there to help the people of Brampton who is struggling with mental health and drug and addiction. So we need a third hospital. I can't give hospital because I'm a city councillor, but I can advocate with the province, the regional, and the federal, because we are all in Canada, right, to get hospital into Brampton. It's a crisis, and we need the hospital.
Yeah, anyone, please feel to join in, anyone.
Yeah, I'd like to comment. So, I think an important aspect here is this really highlights the mismanagement of the current council and under our mayor, right? The province and the federal government will be looking for a partner to build a new hospital. And what that means is, are you ready to provide funding for our share of any construction? And with the tax freeze introduced by Mayor Brown and supported by Councillor Rowena Santos, there's no funds available set aside to build a new hospital. So the province is not going to come to Brampton and offer a new hospital without any contribution from the city. That's not going to happen. The city needs to be carefully planned in managing these sorts of decisions, right? This is the problem. We need to actually take steps to get things done and not just wait for someone to do it for us.
Can I say something about that? Our property tax has not been frozen for 4 years. In 2022, our property tax went up, and it went up by 1.8%. 1% of that property tax increase is to go towards the Lynch Hospital, and that's supposed to accumulate to 62.5 million. That's coming from us, the residents of Brampton. Another 62.5 million is going to be coming from the Brampton Reserve Fund. The 125 million is coming from William Osler. So that's 250. There's nothing in there from the province. And the expansion of Lynn Hospital is nowhere on the book to start now. I saw 2027. So even though the Rowena in her flyer that she's using to campaign saying we're getting hospital, there's nothing in the book for hospital. There's nothing in the book for university. So we need to clear that out. And our tax wasn't frozen. We got 1.8%. 0.4% of that tax stays in Brampton. The other 1.4 went to the province. To the, sorry, not the province, the region.
Yeah, both of our candidates are asking, Stephen Lee and Stacey, both are asking. I wish we did invite Rowena Santos. I wish the Rowena Santos was here. She's an incumbent candidate. We're talking about Ward 1 and 5. The Councillor Rowena Santos, she's not here. So we invited her. So I wish Rowena Santos was here to answer all these questions. Yeah, Idris, quickly.
But please, if I can spend some more time in this, because I listened to both of them. The issue with the hospital, the burden should not go on residents, on Bramptonians who have been starved and deprived of equitable healthcare funding. So to ask Bramptonians to pay a ridiculous amount towards that hospital tells me something that councillors refuse to advocate for us. Now, in 2007, when William Osler began operation, it was supposed to treat 90,000 patients annually. Currently, it treats over 145,000 patients annually. We have the worst per capita hospital ratio at 0.96 than any other major city in Ontario. Why is this? Because Bramptonians have been neglected for so long. So when members of William Osler came to do the presentation to council regarding the promised 850-bed hospital, our councillors accepted the 250-bed hospital instead of the provincially approved 850. As a councillor, I would never have accepted that. And accepting that 250 expansion of Hill Memorial, what it created was the local contribution from residents, which came out to the largest tax bill on Bramptonians, $125 million. So the amount that Tracy was talking about is where that comes. So when they tell you that we're getting a second hospital, we're not getting a second hospital. There's no emergency. There's no inpatient care. There's no, all of the basic things that you need to operate as a functioning hospital, we don't have it. And when that hospital is ready in 2007, guess what? We'll be shortchanged again. So the difference between the 250 and 850 is what we need right now, 850, but they settled for 250. I would never have voted for that, and I would never have voted for additional tax burden on Bramptonians who have been overly taxed and have been given the burden to pay for a hospital that other municipalities are not mandated to contribute towards. This is how bad things are with healthcare.
Yeah, Idris, we wish we had more time. We're already a little bit overstretched on this topic, but I wanted to get your viewpoint. This is a very important issue. Yes. Hospital in Brampton, healthcare, the provincial budget and the federal budget. This is the #1 big ticket item for province and for federal. But are we getting our fair share? And when we see many questions being raised, so I thought I'll give you enough time, but if we could stick to 4 minutes. Idris, I'll start with you this time, and then anybody can jump in anytime. This is again an open discussion for approximately 4 minutes, but let's try to squeeze in with the 4 minutes. University in Brampton. Do we need a university in Brampton? Are we getting a university in Brampton? What is your plan? And let's start from you, Idris, and any of the candidates can jump in any time during this discussion. University in Brampton. Idris, go ahead.
So the issue of university, we have existing institutions right here. We have Algoma College, we have Sheridan. So instead of bringing a competing, quote, Brampton University, a non-existing Brampton University, we should have been able to work with this university to develop them and improve them so that residents of Brampton can go to these schools, as opposed to bringing in a competing university, which did not materialize. So what I want to say to Bramptonians, as much as we do need financial institutions here for residents of Brampton to attend, for our children to attend, it is important that we develop our city as well. So if we cannot maintain our property standards and we operate in a filthy city, the downtown core, zero development, how do we happen to want to manage another university when we already have two that we can support and expand? And that's what has led to the various allegations to which Councillor Jeff Bowman has spoken about ad nauseum regarding the non-Brampton University, to which our current councillors are heavily involved in. So if you're saying I cannot give you the statistics, or rather quote other media outlet, it is difficult to say the things that Councillor Bowman and other people who have an inner dealings on this subject. But currently, we have lost $630,000 of taxpayers' money to a non-existent Brampton University. I would not, if I were a councillor, before I sign a check, I will know what I'm signing for, and there'll be better and transparent accountability measure to all councillors instead of signing money and giving checks to consultants without any
go ahead. You
meaningful
can jump in. Yeah.
delivery.
Idris, I'm gonna continue on what he's saying. They said that we were getting a university here. Who was funding the university? Was it Brampton itself that was bringing in that university, or they partnered with someone to bring a university in? Because 600,000 of our money, or property tax money, or tax money went towards paying someone to start something with the university. The job wasn't done, the money is gone, and we cannot find the money. And the investigation on that was canceled, voted against to cancel in September. We still need answers for our money, because my money is in there too. So we still need answer for that money. And we still, yes, we do need a university. Brampton is big enough to carry a university. We should be able to train doctors here, lawyers here. We shouldn't, my daughter wants to be a doctor, and I shouldn't have to pay for her to drive to Toronto, an hour and a half in traffic to go to school. We have land in Brampton, we can put university. But if we are accountable leaders, investors, we want to invest with us. The province might want to do better for us. The federal might want to do better. But if you can't be trusted in City Hall as the leader, who is going to come forward to put a university in place?
There's something I want to add in regards to the hospital conversation and the university conversation. And the main idea is it's very easy for candidates for local office to try to spend other levels of government's money. You know, I have friends who work in the post-secondary sector. They tell me the provincial government is not interested in investing. They're looking at making cuts. So I am skeptical about the provincial government, Ontario government, coming in and dropping a lot of new money for a brand new university or a hospital, all right? We have hospitals that are currently underfunded, universities that are underfunded, so to open a brand new one is a big ask. Frankly, if we're going to get a university in Brampton, I feel the most realistic path is the same one that Metropolitan University of Toronto, formerly Ryerson, took, which is to convert a college into a university. We should be working with Sheridan College to promote it into a university where the infrastructure is already in place, it has a tradition and an institution. We're not building from scratch. We'd be building something up that's already Brampton-based.
With that said, we can't throw the provincial as new candidates. We don't know what the answers to the provincial and the federal is when it comes to helping with a university. So we can't take what somebody on the outside say and say that the province won't give. We have to be at the table with them, have discussions, talk to them, and hear their feedback. When we get answers from them, then we move to a next way of funding a university. But I don't want to take outside people's advice to say province won't give.
Thank you.
It has to come from within.
Thank you. We need to go quickly to our next topic, which is the property taxes. So let's talk about the property taxes now. Stephen, why don't I start with you? Everyone is concerned about their property taxes, especially because of the inflation right now. Housing affordability has been a major issue, and property taxes, I don't know how you would see. I'll ask all the three candidates, do you want to increase the property taxes, freeze it, decrease it? What do you guys want to do? And any comments that what has been happening in the past, especially looking at the inflation numbers. Stephen, property taxes.
Yes. The first thing I would say is we can increase the amount of money the city pulls in by increasing the number of units within the city, right? So if there's more houses, more properties, more businesses within Brampton, that will increase our overall revenue without having to necessarily increase expenses because it'll be relying primarily on existing infrastructure. Now that all said, and I understand people's budgets are tight, and I understand property taxes are expensive, but we are a rapidly growing city with significant infrastructure demands, and we cannot starve the city for money and expect it to grow. The city will suffer. I believe it was Idris's opening comment. He mentioned how the city is dirty, how things are not being properly maintained. Well, if we're going to hire staff, if we're going to hire bylaw officers, if we're going to have better enforcement, those people are not volunteers. We need to pay for the services the city requires. And I think as a mature, responsible city with council members that are going to care about how the dollars are spent, then we can raise taxes when required responsibly.
Yeah, Igris, let me bring him in because I think I want to, because he's near there, I can't see him. Yeah, Igris, you want to say something, please?
With regards to property taxes, I hate to break this to Bramptonians. Yes, we have one of the highest property taxes in Ontario. It's about to get higher. When you freeze property taxes, sooner or later, they're going to unfreeze it, and you'll be hit at a higher rate than you can manage. So when you see Paul Vicente and Rowena Santos have on their flyers that will freeze property taxes, if there's no revenue, how do you run this city? What council should have focused on was what they said they were going to do when they got elected: increase jobs, create manufacturing. You cannot continue to put the burden on Bramptonians who are overburdened with high property taxes, high insurance, high everything. What you do is work your tail off to bring in investors into this city, to bring in businesses that will help alleviate the pain of overburdened taxpayers. The way our city is right now, with the trash and garbage all over, if you're an investor, you'll be skeptical in coming to put money in this city. So I know all of this are all interconnected, but Bramptonians are tired of all of these high property taxes. When you put the burden by building high rises, bringing in more people, you have to factor how you create a functioning, livable community for them. You cannot put the burden back on residents to fund the city, most especially when there's misappropriation of our collective wealth. So all of these things are things that as a councillor, I will vote on issues that are of interest, the interests of Bramptonians, and not necessarily whose pocket is being lined up. Because current city councillors have not done that. Now we're in a situation where there's no choice but to continue to increase property taxes. They will do it. If they don't do it, it's inevitable that it's going to go up. And Bramptonians are going to freeze it, because for the 4 years it was frozen, all of the maintenance of this city has been shut down.
Yeah,
no development, no infrastructure, nothing.
Yeah, Idris will come back to you. Idris will come back to you. Yeah.
Yeah, so for property tax, I personally don't have a problem paying property tax. And residents don't have a problem paying property tax. What they have a problem is paying the highest property tax in Ontario and get nothing in return for it. We have no hospital. Our kids are being trained in containers at school. We have no road infrastructure. They're taking out the roads, putting in bike lane. And at the same time, putting high density building everywhere in the city. We already can't get home because of traffic. So when those residents come in, where do we drive to get home? Where is the infrastructure? Bike lanes, in high rise, no road. Property tax, we have to increase, but we increase at a moderate level. But right now, I will tell you this. If this is how Brampton is, I would want my property tax to be lowered, because I'm not getting service for my money. And I know residents out there would agree with me. We're not getting anything for the money we're paying for property tax. So why raise it now? If we're getting something, fine, increase, because we know we need money to get stuff. It's not about not wanting to get this stuff. It's, am I getting a hospital? Am I getting schools? Am I getting roads? What am I getting for my money?
Yeah. Yeah, you quickly, yes.
Yeah, just a quick point. Suburban sprawl, low density housing is very expensive. The fact that we have built Brampton to be mostly detached single family homes means that the property tax burden is enormous, because every strip of pipe that goes down through the road is only shared by a few families instead of split amongst a lot of people. And the fact that we've dominated the city with sprawl makes it far more expensive. That's why property taxes can be lower in a place like Toronto and Mississauga than in Brampton, because they have densified smartly in certain areas.
All right, and our next topic is youth. So what are we doing for our youth? They're the future. Stacey, why don't I start with you? Again, open discussion, 4 minutes approximately. Stacey.
Yes, thank you again. As a person working with youth, a lot of youths are facing mental health challenges. drugs and addiction challenges, and we have nothing in place to help them. My cry to the government, to everybody, is to help me to have a voice so we get that mental health facility in place, so that after they're discharged from Brampton Civic Psychiatric Ward, they have a place to go for follow-up visit. They're the ones coming out, turning 18, can't find a job because they're not employable, and they're sometimes caught up in the car theft, the house breaking. Mental health challenge is a disease. Sometimes you can't help them, but we can put things in place to give them an easier life. Youth and school. We need to cut racism out of school. This is big because my own child had experienced a little bit of it, and I had to open my mouth. It didn't reach to the school because my daughter knew I'm going to go there. She politely said to them, and it was corrected. Racism comes in Canada, it's very silent. It walks underneath the grass, so you don't see it, but it's here big. We need to stop seeing people from the skin point. As Bob Marley said, as long as the color of a man's skin and the color of the eye is an obstacle, there will be war. We have to live as one. Start from within homes, start from within the school environment. Treat our kids as if they're equal to your kids, so they don't come out traumatized. Treat everyone equal. It starts from home and it starts from within the school.
Yeah. Steve,
may I come in now?
Agrees. Anyone?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I think when we're talking about youth in Brampton in particular, the major thing I'm concerned about is I think young people don't see a future for themselves in Brampton, right? I'm 34, I work full time, I'm a young professional, I cannot buy a home in Brampton. I cannot afford the cheapest home available in this city. My sister, who grew up in Brampton, my family is from the city, we're all born here, she had to leave. She had to move far outside of the city to afford a home for her and her daughter and her husband, right? If you talk to young people, or if you have children yourself, you will hear this story over and over again, that there is not a place for people in the city for them. So there's no hope. We cannot be a city that rejects the futures for our young people. We have to make space for people to build a life here. And City Council is part of that, making the city livable for everyone from newborns to the elderly. There has to be space for everybody.
All right. Yeah, Igris.
So, one of the biggest problems facing us that our current councillors have failed in addressing is what do we do with the tons of energy in this youth? I'll give you an example. Here's our downtown core. We have to invest in arts and entertainment. A lot of this youth whom we see have turned our streets, our neighborhood into racetracks are bored. If you are between the age of 19 and 32 unmarried, you really have nothing to do in this city. All of that excess energy is what they apply into mischievous activities like speeding and racing and endangering our city. We can invest more in sports facilities. So right now, I know there's an idea to just build a particular sporting event. No, you need to build a multi-purpose facility that addresses all of the deficiencies we have in sports and arts and entertainment, so that we can channel the energy of our youth into this and get them off the streets, get them off the corners. Because of not having these things, you're having a lot of these young stars running around and creating and wreaking havoc on our streets. That's one thing. Arts and entertainment can be a solution. Sports, as somebody who has coached basketball for a lot of our youth in so many years, and my children play soccer, I can tell you, when you have children engaged, they tend not to apply themselves in the wrong places. So these are things great in as we develop a city. Currently, we're building houses, increasing density without community centers to serve, to address this for seniors and to address for the youth. So all of these people are missing from the plans of this city.
Yeah. Wish we had more time for this one. And our last topic would be transit. And Stacey, we'll start with you. What are your plans? What do you think? How's the transit doing in Brampton?
Well, the transit, semi-good. They're transiting from diesel into electric, which is good for the environment. But we need more transit on the road and regular hours. The wait time for the next transit is too long. It's between half an hour to an hour. We need to let it be 15 minutes, the highest on major routes. On the inner routes, 30 minutes the most for the Brampton transit. We need more GO train service, and both service should be 7 days per week, because people work 7 days per week. We need major transit from the GO train to Brampton GO to major cities in the GTA. And we also need to decrease the GO fare so it attracts more ridership. The fare one way is $9.30 from one place. That's too much per day, and that's one route. So decrease the transit fare on the GO route to increase ridership. That will also help the environment to get rid of the emissions from cars and stuff. So that's it with transit. More transit, green transit, regular hours, more ridership.
I think, Stacey, you made some brilliant points there. I would agree with a lot of what you just said. And I think an important detail here for voters to be aware of is August of this year saw, we beat the transit numbers of August 2019. So transit ridership dropped during the pandemic for obvious reasons, but now we're seeing growth. Brampton Transit was growing rapidly leading up to the pandemic, and now it looks like we're getting back on track. That means we have to be funding it, expanding capacity, expanding frequency. Frequent transit is effective transit. And another important aspect here that I briefly want to talk on is we're building the Gateway Hub where the Hazel McCallion LRT is going to come, and we have Bramley GO Station. These areas need to be integrated into the network so that they function overall. Right now the problem is I'm very concerned that the Gateway Terminal is going to be a dead end, that the train is going to stop there and it's not going to really mesh well with the rest of the city. So we need to implement a good plan to be sure that that ties into our bus network and also plans for future expansion.
All right. Yeah, Idris, anything you want to quickly add?
So transit is a major problem because we have to be able to haul people efficiently and effectively in a manner where it does not destroy the environment. Let's look at our roads. So before you're increasing transit, you have to look at the roads we have. An example is Williams Parkway. The previous council spent money. The previous council had approved expansion of that road. When that road, if that road were expanded, it would be able to allow for more transit from all through the length of the corridor of Williams Parkway. And we ended up spending $9.6 million on those two blue ugly walls, $82,000 to remove the old trees, and yet no expansion. So before you're increasing buses to be able to haul people from point A to point B, we have to have the infrastructure. Currently, we have no infrastructure. Our roads are so narrow that we're turning some of our roads into bike lanes. So we need to be able to move, to allow the horse to be in front instead of the cart in front of the horse. Without doing those things, building the infrastructure, you cannot expand on transit, increase ridership. There are a lot of us who who drive our vehicles right now. Within Brampton, most of us will keep our vehicles at home. But because either the fare is too expensive or the wait time is so long, people are taking the chances. And that's the reason why we have congestion on our streets. As a councillor, these are the things I will work to expand the lanes in certain areas of our streets that is able to allow us to move people from point A to point B before we start to increase the number of buses. The LRT is another one. If I can touch on the LRT, may I?
Sorry?
The LRT.
Yeah, LRT, please go ahead if you want to touch. Yeah, quickly.
So we have the LRT that's coming from the Hazel McCallion line coming to downtown. Now, my problem with that is we're bringing traffic back to the downtown core, to nothing. There's no entertainment center, there's no stadium, we don't have a functioning university, so we're bringing people into this. We have the Stills corridor straight to Bramley Center that, in my opinion, could have been an area where we can move this and interconnect all of these transit lanes. But so far, our councillors did not see this. So when we bring traffic into the downtown core, for what purpose does it serve? We don't have any of the facilities there to bring in, to allow us to bring in more people. As it stands right now, there's gridlock in the downtown of our city. So by bringing the LRT there, you're making it worse. The roads are so narrow, we can't expand them. You can't enhance our transportation. In my honest opinion, they should have thought about this carefully before allowing the approval of that lane to the downtown. Rather, we should have looked at the Stills corridor heading towards Bramalea, thereby moving a lot of the traffic out of the city towards where we have the 410 and a major center that's already been developed, like the Bramalea City Center. That should be, in my honest opinion, the areas that require high density. And if you go back to the original city plan, the Brampton 2040 vision, that's what it detailed. But this current council shut down
Idris,
the Brampton
sorry to interrupt, Idris. I
2040
wish we had more time. Idris, but I know all you candidates are bringing some very good points. And once again, I'll say this, thank you, all three of you. It was a very interesting discussion, and I thoroughly enjoyed all the discussion. Very good points made by all the candidates. Wish Rowena Santos and Paul Vicente was also here, and we could have a more interesting discussion, but we did send an invite. So ward number 1 and 5 for Brampton, this is a very interesting discussion that we had today, but I'll once again like to put it on record that any allegations, if at all they were made in the program, none of these allegations have been proven in the court of law. These are all comments, these are all made by their candidates, these are their own individual comments. We do not endorse any of the comments made by all the candidates. But thank you so much, Stacey. All the three candidates will get 1 minute for your closing remarks. Stacey, we'll start with you, your closing remarks.
Hi, thank you for having me here. And it was a pleasure talking to the community. And I hope on October 24, you all get up, go and vote. Vote for change, vote for integrity, vote for yourself and the city of Brampton. Vote Stacey Ann Brooks.
All right. Yeah. 1 minute, Idris, 1 minute for you.
Thank you all. For residents of wards 1 and 5. There are 3 candidates running for that. The incumbent, myself. I have a proven record for fighting for something. My fight single-handedly created a policy change in hiring 2 property standard officers in Brampton. I have done the work, and I'll continue to do the work. There's no point to split the vote. If the other candidates were strong enough, I came unprepared. You can see from the way I'm dressed. They should have been here, from Sima to Paul Vicente. They should have been here to make their case. Them not being here is a sign that they either can face the heat and address the issues before residents. On October the 24th, please vote Idris Urugu as the regional councillor for Brampton. I will fight for you. For wards 1 and 5, I will fight for you. I have demonstrated that we need to clean up our city. We need to bring investment to this city. If you care for Brampton, do not split the vote. Vote for Idris Urugu. We need Paul Vicente out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And have a blessed day.
Thank you. Yes, your 1 minute, Stephen.
Thank you. I want to thank Y Media for inviting us today, and I'd like to thank my fellow candidates for coming and having such a fruitful discussion about real ideas and real policies. I think, like many residents, we know Brampton needs change. And I invite voters watching and interested to check out our platforms and learn more about it. So you can find more about me at votestephenlee.ca. And if you want to break a city about people and making the lives of the people who call Brampton home better, please consider voting for me on October 24th.
All right. Thank you so much. Once again, I really enjoyed all the points that you made. Thank you so much, Stephen Lee. We wish you all the best, Stephen. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of Y Media, Stacey, I'd like to thank you also for joining us today. Thank you so much. And Idris, thank you so much on behalf of Y Media for joining us today. Thank you so much. Once again, we'd like to tell all our viewers that yes, you can watch all these debates on Channel Y, available on Rogers 857, Bell 828, Telus 2418, Ignite 707, and Y Plus. Y Plus is a 24/7 all English channel which is available on boxes. You can check out your box on the all section. So do save channel Y and Y Plus on your favorites. In case you want to watch it right here on your mobile app, it's a very simple thing to do. Yes, Y Media TV. Download Y Media TV on your phone. You can watch it over your phone as well. And visit us on y.media. There's no .com. It's just y.media. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you enjoyed today's discussion. That's all the time that we have. Keep watching Channel Y. Stay tuned with Y Media.
Hi, this is Priyanka Chopra and you are watching Channel Y.
The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media. Y Media.
Y Media Group, established in 2001, is a media company with a 360-degree approach in reaching our audience over 5 platforms: television, radio, newspaper, online news portal, and mobile app.
Y Media has newspaper, midweek, radio, South Asian Pulse.
Hi, I'm Amitabh Bachchan, and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
Hi, this is Amir Khan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
अब हर दिन सुने GTA का नंबर 1 रेडियो स्टेशन FM 91.9
All English 24/7 television network and Y Media Plus.
You are watching Channel Y. Channel Y.
Prime Minister,